A census taker once tried to test me. I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
Welcome back to the Titanium Hanger. This is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about collector cannibalization. Is this a problem started by companies, perpetuated by collectors? Yes. Does a decreased retail footprint, the required online pre-orders, does the fact that less stuff's getting produced, does the fact that prices are going up, does the fact that many collectors are quitting the game all have a factor? Yes, 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 and yes. But I want to tell you, the cannibalization doesn't just affect modern collectors. Vintage collectors are feeling the same cannibalization in a different way. I'm going to talk about this and more coming up. First problem is lack of access at retail. When I was collecting for decades, 26 years, and I would buy 90% of my stuff that was modern at retail, the one or two offshoots I'd have to buy on eBay from a quote-unquote scalper for a few bucks more was few and far between. Nowadays, it goes from about 75% nowadays to 25% that's available at retail. Now, there are some places, people live in the land of the plenty where they get everything at retail. That is far below even 5% of collectors that get that luxury. I don't get that luxury. And to tell you the truth, some of it turns me off. The fact I can't buy it at retail and I have to pre-order it. If you were to take these numbers and say, if you had to pre-order it, would you pre-order 100 items today for the rest of this year? No. The average person would maybe pre-order 20. That leaves 80 as maybe I'll find it at retail, or maybe I'll live without it for the rest of my life. And that is where we are right now. That's the beginning of the cannibalization process. You say, well, companies did this. Yeah, companies did do it. They decreased production. Walmart has reduced the planogram. Look at these pictures. No Masters of the Universe exist in these Walmarts. And I'd have to say less than 20% of Walmarts in America have a Masters of the Universe item in their planogram. Less than 20%. I do say there are some currently that have it. I know one in OKC that I go to that has it. But for the most part, most have either nothing or, let's see if I can find this picture, something on clearance. It's a terrible picture, but very terrible picture. But something on clearance. If they've got Motu, it's on clearance, or nothing on the planogram in the main line. So what happens if, let's say, 75% of collectors are unable to get their stuff at retail? Well, they got to go online. What happens is the entire collector community is cannibalizing the few online outlets that actually have the items, and they destroy it because they all order it from there. Because they have no choice. So the cannibalization starts from the fact of lack of accessibility at retail. Now you have to go online to BBTS, Entertainment Earth, and there's like 5 of them that have mainline stuff. But then this happens. I actually thought I was super lucky to be one of the few in the proud to find Wave 2 of the Origin Turtles at retail, to not find a shredder. So I was like, well, I'll just go get my shredder at BBTS or Entertainment Earth or online, and sold out. Sold out. For whatever reason, shredders sold out everywhere. So I've wasted my time buying Wave 2. I can't get a shredder. Now I might get them for $80 on eBay. But we will sort of come back to that, because for every figure you have to overpay for a stupid amount, there's like 12 duds that you'll get for cheap, maybe $10 down the road if you completely abandon all retail and go purely for the secondary market. You could buy up the duds for cheap to overcompensate for the really expensive figures. Hasbro's purely admitting they don't want to make toys anymore, and they're going to license out everything. and except G.I. Joe and Transformers. So everything else is going to just go to the wayside, and we're going to see Star Wars in a minute. What I believe is going to happen with Star Wars and Hasbro and Disney, because it's very obvious. It hit me in my face so hard at retail that I got to talk about it. But when you look at the Power Ranger situation, I was like, oh, I got all these Rangers for $8, $13. I got them all. Where's the Green Ranger? Oh, he's on pre-order for $35 and sold out. Ridiculously overpriced and sold out. What? Cannibalization of the collector market by collectors and companies. Let me chime in on this. I do not care about Power Rangers, and I actually hate the show, and I hate everything it stands for, and how they talk down to kids, and they thought kids were stupid. But I wanted this, sadly enough. So what are they doing with G.I. Joe Classified? Well, we get these exclusives, they pop up, and they say it's sold out. When it comes into stock, then it re-shows up. They're playing games. They're cannibalizing you. You are cannibalizing yourself, paying extra money to buy it on the secondary market, and then, boom, pops up for regular price for like the next 2 years until they clearance it out. It's ridiculous. It's a conundrum. We keep doing this over and over and over. Recycle, rinse, and repeat. But then again, there'll be the one figure that you can't get. It's impossible to get, even if you wait. Patience doesn't save pockets. It actually makes you want to quit the toy line. Enter McFarlane, which I sung praises to McFarlane in several videos. Because when this started out, it was fun. It was $10 a figure. They were easy to get. If you didn't buy it day 1 or day 60 or day 90, you could still get them for $10. But if you bought them day 6 months later, then you got them for like $4. Great. It's a fun line. I really enjoyed it. I loved it. Guess what? Black Manta. Never saw it in a store. Never saw it anywhere available anywhere to buy. Even the Entertainment Earth, which was a pre-order to buy the whole wave, sold out at $60. Now it's ridiculous prices. This one figure makes me want to quit this line because I'm only a toe into it. It was fun. The fun is completely eradicated. I have had no fun with this line. It's been like, I've had more fun at the dentist. 2 dentist appointments have gone by. That was way more fun than collecting this line and having to deal with this ridiculous nonsense, this Black Manta. Now at 100, these are sold listings. Screw you, Todd. I really think I might not buy another thing from Todd except for Plastic Man. I'll talk about that. But this is ridiculous. This is asinine. Give us a way to get this one figure, or I'm kind of done with the line. And really, Batman 66, I had fun with it, but it stopped being fun. We're in that. We are cannibalizing ourselves. Companies are cannibalizing us. And you know what? I'm just going to get eaten on this and stop collecting it. Now we get into the vintage market, which I have good news for vintage collectors, but it doesn't look good now. But when you look at vintage collecting, the mask stuff, I've got a lot of people that love my mask videos, and I'm going to keep making mask videos. I have several planned. But the prices have gone through the roof on a lot of the mask stuff, especially complete. The magic word in vintage is complete. But it's kind of funny because mask is its own thing, and people still go after the first series stuff more than anything else, even though Split Seconds and later series stuff commands a price that makes absolutely no sense. They don't sell very often. But a Thunderhawk and a Rhino and a Firecracker and all those other ones sell. The fact that mask collectors just truly love the first season and first series more than anything. But let's get into Star Wars collecting. Star Wars kind of mirrors every other vintage toy line in existence. The common stuff has gotten a lot cheaper in the last 2 years. And it started in 2023, and I started picking up and filling out some gaps that I had in my Star Wars collection. I was like, I need this, this, and this. But then in 2024, it's like it cratered. Complete, mint condition, common figures you can get for cheap. But the rare figures, the hard-to-get figures, which, by the way, Yak Face isn't rare. There's always 12, 15 of them on eBay all the time. But he's not rare, but he's rarer. They didn't make them as 2 million of them. They probably made 100,000 or 600,000 or something instead of millions of them. And so for that, he was a later release. I remember buying mine in like 2011 or 2010, 2011, something like that, for $118 or 82 pounds. I had to buy it out of the country. And it was my biggest purchase for a toy in my life at the time. And I was thinking, I'm out of my mind. But there were 10 more for that same price that I passed on. I could have bought up 10 more of them for between 118 and 150. But I got my one and I was happy and I went about my business. But nowadays they go for $1,000. Well, you can get a beater for $600 and it does suck. But there's actually options out there. You can buy the Stan Solo one for like $100, or you can buy some other ones out there that are very similar. But yet, the original one still commands a high price. But you see it in Superpowers, you see it in all of these other toy lines, because the rare stuff gets more expensive. The common stuff is almost free. Then the toy lines that made absolutely no mark on the community. We're talking a trillionth of a percent of people even know it exists. But now, due to YouTube channels and all of the people pushing it, now everyone knows it exists, but very few people care. But the few people that care pay ridiculous money for stuff like tiger sharks, SWAT cats, and I have a bit of this stuff, but I'm not too far out of my mind to pay anywhere near these prices for these items. But it is fun. Kind of gives me the excitement to say, hey, Super 7 make it, that kind of stuff going forward. Now that I've discussed the cannibalization of the market, the cannibalization of we, the collectors, what do we do about this? Well, I'll tell you what we do. Absolutely nothing changes from what I've said in the last 20 videos that I discussed this very topic. If you want something badly, then you need to pre-order it. And you need to make sure you secure it. And if it's something that you just don't care about, like, I kind of want it, maybe I'll buy it, then roll the dice. But do you really want 100 pre-orders? I used to carry almost 100 pre-orders at BBTS. Now it's down to about 60. Here's some hashtag facts. Super 7 did not go forward with this line. There were not enough pre-orders for this. We have cannibalized this going forward. Simpsons is not going forward, and there's other things Disney with Super 7. I could probably be called a Super 7 fanboy because I love them more than the classified versions. I was not in on this. I did not support this. I think they look cool, but for $55 price point, I don't need these repaints. But they got cannibalized by the system 3 years ago. These would have gotten made. 2024, they're not getting made. What does this mean that Disney's toy line for Star Wars is overshadowing what Hasbro's got going on the toy aisle? Maybe it means that Hasbro is going to ditch Star Wars and Marvel down the road. Maybe it's something else, but it seems really odd that there's so much product coming from Disney on the toy aisles at the same time that Hasbro is literally throwing layups every time they do an announcement. It's literally just rehashes, as if they have almost zero retooling new tool budget, but yet Disney is going to town on Star Wars. Very interesting, very curious. Curiouser and curiouser. But I want to know what you think about the cannibalization of the system. I'm not going to talk about the economic situation we're in and how it's going to get worse. It's going to get way worse. And I'm not going to go into all that. I got another channel for that. But I want to hear what you think about the cannibalization of collectors from companies and collectors themselves. Let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe. And Titanium Hanger out.
The bone, but you're not more than one generation from poor wire trash, are you, Agent Starling? And that accent you've tried so desperately to shed, pure West Virginia. Where's your father dears you're calling him on? Getting anywhere, getting all the way to the end of the pie. You fly back to school now, little starling. Fly yourself.
What about it? Why don't you look at yourself and write down what you say?